Tonight's true story I'm going to call The Anniversary. Now, this was sent in by my author friend, Lydia Ortiz Avant, and she's the author of the Malevolent Nephilim trilogy. I just finished reading the first in the series, The Malevolent Nephilim, and it was a great book. It is in the horror fiction genre, but it is heavily rooted and based in fact in true events. Anyway, I highly recommend it to anyone. You guys should check it out. But this story was from a sweet little old lady that Lydia had befriended in a nursing home, and we're going to call her Coraline. Now, when Coraline was 12 years old, and this would have been back in the 1800s, she was entered into an arranged marriage by her family. This was a much different time, of course, and her family was very poor, and a elderly gentleman had offered them a lot of money for their daughter's hand in marriage. So they agreed, to get themselves out of poverty. Now, of course, Coraline protested, said she even cried when they told her about it at first, but they said basically, look, this guy's really old. He's not going to be long for this world, so just basically hang in there, bide your time. It'll be over before you know it. Well, she was miserable from the outset. Now, he basically made her his maid. And not only that, he was a drunk. Said that he would be drinking wine from the start of day well into the night. And she was basically his slave labor. She had to cook his meals from scratch, do all his laundry, and keep this big mansion of his cleaned. And it would take her into well into the night. And then he would also keep the company of other adult ladies during the day and then crawl into the bed at night with her. Now, even though he never consummated the marriage, he would still crawl into the bed with her at night. And we have a word for what was going on now. We know exactly what was happening. It's called grooming. But anyway, he never consummated the marriage, but the longer this went on, the more she grew to resent him. Not just for resentment, but outright anger. Him carrying on with other women and drinking all day into the night every day and being his slave. It really wore on her. And she considered more than once, escaping. But she didn't want her family to lose the monthly check that they were getting from this guy. So she hung in there. Well, by the time she was 15, she had been here 3 years. And one day, finally, she felt like karma might have finally kicked in. Because as this guy was getting out of bed one day, he fell into the floor. And Coraline says she's not going to lie, that she did consider just letting him lay there. But against her better judgment, she did call the doctor. Well, the doctor came in, and he shut the bedroom door, but Coraline, she pressed her ear to the door and listened to what was said. And she heard the doctor basically saying, I told you 5 years ago, if you didn't stop drinking, that you were going to die of liver disease. And he's like, and here we are, 5 years later, and you are at death's door. Well, sure enough, 3 days later, Coraline wound up having to call that doctor back, and this time, the doctor pronounced it. It was official. The man had passed away. Well, after this, Coraline's family moved in with her, and things were getting better. She moved out of the bedroom that she had to share with the man at night, and time was moving on. But on the 1 year anniversary of the day he passed, she heard him calling from the bedroom that they used to share together. She heard him calling her name. And she said it was almost like a trance, but she followed his voice. and he tried to he was in there, and she tried to get her to climb in the bed with him, and she refused. To which she said he cursed her and threatened her and spat at her, and it wound up he spat in her face. Well, she ran out of the bedroom and locked the door and called the police. Now, of course, what do you think happened when the police got there? The guy's been gone a year. There was no one there. Well, she said the place where he had spat on her face was beginning to hurt. It was there was pain, and there was a mark there. Well, they told her to go see a doctor in the morning and get it checked out. Well, here's the thing: that this lady was a good 95 years old when Lydia befriended her, and she had a little place on her face. There was a wound there that had been there her entire life, ever since that day when she was 15 years old. And she said no matter how many doctors she went to see, that it would never go away. And it was always just that little painful mark, just that reminder of that night. So, what did you guys think about Lydia's story? I thought that was really mind blowing. Thank you, Lydia, for your story. You guys keep sending me your stories and suggestions. That has been Jay's Haunted Appalachia for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep Appalachia haunted, y'all.